Tetracast. This is episode 393, being recorded on May 3rd, 2025. I am your substitute host, Josh Torres. Brian, your usual host, had a little bit of a PC hardware hiccup, we'll call it. So he'll be, had to take a step back this week. He'll be returning probably next week. Until then, we're here at May. Start of May, spring is coming in. Summer very close. Joining me on this one is Adam Vitali.
Days are getting longer. Days are getting warmer. I'm here for it.
Yep. James Galizio.
Hey, folks.
And Chow Min Woo.
How's it going?
So last podcast, it was a gigantic one, and we're kind of
we're still recovering.
Yeah, we're still recovering, but thankfully it's kind of slowing down a little bit for us to, just catching our breath from it. And this week we're going to be covering a release that came out some time ago, about a week or so ago. The main one we're going to be talking about today is Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree. And following that, since we can catch our breath, we have Chow's Retro Corner as well following that. So stay tuned for what game that'll be after Adam talks about his time with Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree. Adam, what is this and how is it?
Yeah, first of all, I remember actually talking about this when we were discussing news and updates for this game. I actually was wondering, is it pronounced Mandragora or Mandragora? Apparently it's either. I guess Mandragora is more common. Now, Josh, tell me if I'm wrong. I learned that the reason why you pronounce it Mandragora is because that's how they pronounce it in .hack. Is that right?
Maybe that's where I got it from. Now that I'm thinking about it.
I asked people about this, and a couple of people were like, they pronounce it Mandragora in .hack, so that's how I say it. And that's why Josh says it that way.
Oh my god. I didn't know I said it like that because of .hack, but now that makes perfect sense. Shit.
Anyways, in the game, they actually pronounce it Mandragora.
Mandragora,
yeah. But apparently it's sort of either. You can find different pronunciation dictionaries online, whatever. But yeah, so this game came out in mid-April, so it's a couple of weeks old. It's a 2D side scroller, kind of search action, Metroidvania, whatever you want to call it. RPG mixed with, it's not shy about it, some Dark Souls-ish influences. Came out in the middle of April. I'm getting to it a little bit later because April was a little bit busy and packed, as you could tell from our previous podcast.
So many people I know are still going through the 100 line and probably aren't going to be finished until right before the end of this month.
Yeah, right before the Switch too.
Yep.
But yeah, so now that I've finished, Expedition 33 and had a little bit of a cooldown period here, I'm like, all right, time to check out this game. This game's kind of had an interesting release. Build up to the release. It was announced several years ago by Marvelous Europe, and it was kind of weird because Marvelous Europe, obviously Marvelous has their own set of games that they do, but they do some, Xseed and Marvelous do some of their own publishing, and this game is actually from a developer called Knight's Peak, and I apologize, I'm actually not sure where Knight's Peak is located, but I'm pretty sure this is their first major title. But it kind of disappeared for a while, and then it got picked up by a new publisher. I'm sorry, I got that mixed up. The developer is Primal Game Studio. The publisher is Knight's Peak. So it kind of was announced, disappeared, and then reappeared. But yeah, it finally came out just a couple of weeks ago in April. It's a 2D side-scroller Metroidvania search action RPG with some Souls-ish influences. I played this a little bit at GDC, and it is definitely leans more into those role-playing elements compared to other search action type games. There's when you start up the game, there's 6 different classes you can choose from. I don't know them off the top of my head, but I picked the Vanguard, which is sort of your club-wielding, shield-wielding knight, kind of physical attacker, but with some focus on blocking and dodging and things like that, not just barbarian-ish type. The premise of the game is relatively simple. kind of in a similar Souls-like vein. It's not a very explicit, overt story. It kind of gives you kind of just a little bit to go on and kind of just let you go explore this world. You are an inquisitor working for a kingdom that has captured a witch, and they basically are about to sacrifice the witch. But at the very beginning of the game, you basically, as you go, because it's your task to kill the witch, you get kind of possessed by it, and it takes over. It like basically resides in your mind, kind of like this sort of internal witch in your mind. And then you're basically left to go explore the world to find another witch. And then from there, it has some quests and events and things that happen. There's not a whole lot of story. There's a lot of environmental storytelling and that sort of things that you might expect from this sort of game. I'm not finished with the game yet. I'm about 12 hours in. I think I'm roughly halfway through, just to kind of give you an idea of its length. There is quite a bit of optional content. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, like when you're talking about like light on story, does it do like since it's very inspired by the From Software Souls games, like the way that they probably do storytelling? Is it one of those things like, hey, if you want more lore, go read like the item descriptions, and there's like maybe journal notes or anything?
There are no journal notes, and there really aren't item descriptions. It's more just like this scant NPC you run into here and there.
Okay.
Sometimes like they don't say a whole lot, but they'll say a few things that might indicate like what's happened to this town that is now deserted and whatnot.
Okay.
Where I'm at in the game now, I'm actually in like a big kind of like furnace area, and it's one of those things like when I stumbled into this area, I don't really know what's going on here. I see a bunch of skeletons acting as slave labor. They're like putting like coal into furnaces and working with all these gears, and there's these big little like steering wheels that they're controlling. I don't really know what's going on. It's that sort of thing where there's like the environmental storytelling where it's like, I'm sure as I explore this area, I'll figure out, oh, here's what they're building here or creating here, or I don't know.
It's like an entire town of skeletons just kind of going about like their labor routine, but they're all skeletons.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of skeletons in the background, just like literally imagine like a skeleton with a shovel scooping up coal and shoving it into a furnace. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. Now this game, I feel like it might change, like the feel of how it plays probably is pretty dependent on which class you pick. So like I said, I picked the Vanguard, who's kind of this slower class, a little bit, lumbering, slow attacks. You get like a kind of like a pretty basic swinging combo of your mace or your sword with a shield block and things like that. And I will say, I think this game is it's kind of dull in a way. It's okay, but it hasn't really like hooked me in terms of like its gameplay and its combat, where I think, wow, this is, it's not excellent to me. It's just kind of fine.
What are your combat options? Like, is like a light attack, a heavy attack?
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, I'm kind of wondering, like, maybe I picked the wrong class. I don't know. Like, maybe I needed to pick someone like more magic based with like some with a different like rhythm to their attacks, or maybe the assassin who's faster. I'm not sure. But yeah, for my class, which is the Vanguard, you basically have like your normal swing, which is the light swing, and you can basically keep doing this. It's basically like left, right, left, right, left, right, until you basically run out of stamina. It's just kind of like your basic just swing. And then you have, when you do your swings, you build up something called adrenaline. It's kind of like the inverse of stamina. As you hit people, you gain adrenaline. And as you gain adrenaline, you can use that to use more advanced techniques. Like there's this one that's kind of like an uppercut that can cause a bleeding effect. There's one that's like a shield bash, like a shield dodge that you can do. There's another that is more of a like a charge attack that you just hold it for a bit, and if you land it after charging, you can do a bunch of damage. So not too unexpected from this sort of archetype. I'm not a fast character. It's more deliberate in that sense. And don't get me wrong, I think it's fine, and I think it's very suitable. One thing I am a little bit disappointed in is I kind of feel like I've been playing this game for 12-ish hours or so, but I kind of feel like the way I play the game, the way I approach combat and things like that hasn't changed a whole lot. And there's not a whole lot I can do besides just kind of like swing and do a couple of blocks and do a couple of charge attacks, and that's about it.
Yeah, I know there was an emphasis pre-release where they showed off like skill trees
Yes.
and like having in-depth skill trees. Like how, even with all those options like on the skill tree, I don't know how robust the options are on the skill tree. Can you talk about a little bit about that and how, I guess in your case, how little it's affected your.
Yeah, so the thing with the skill trees is practically everything on the skill tree is a passive.
Mm,
Not just stats. Most of the nodes on the skill trees are just like you have more strength, or you have more stamina, or you have more health, which is, of course, there's a little bit of that agency there where you decide, you know what, I need to focus on stamina right now because I swing 3 swings and then I'm out. I need to build this up a bit, so you can spend points there. And then there's bigger nodes on the skill tree that are like you gain more adrenaline per swing. It's like a passive skill that you get where you gain more adrenaline. Or there's a passive skill that you get that now if an enemy is bleeding, you have a higher percent chance of doing a critical hit. And things like that, which are, don't get me wrong, of course very useful, but they're all passives. It's not like a new ability to test out or use. It's just like, new modifiers or components to your already existing abilities. And the way you gain new active abilities, like actual different like active, techniques you can use, you gain that from defeating bosses, like mini bosses or optional bosses maybe throughout the world. And just to kind of put it in perspective, I've been playing the game for 12 hours. I think I'm roughly halfway through, and I think I have 5 skills that I can use. There are 5 active skills, and that's it. And that's including just your basic attack. That's one of them. And to me, I kind of feel like it's like, oh, I have 5 skills and that's it. There's not a whole lot of flexibility there. It's just these are the skills you have. Um, it's not bad. Like, don't get me wrong. It's just kind of a little bit stale to me. And I'm actually looking at some of these other classes and some of their. You can go to their skill trees and see what you can. You can pick up abilities from other skill trees. I've been considering it, but I haven't yet. I was like, I'm using up all these Vanguard skills, like passives and things like that. I wonder if there's any others that are useful to me. And like the Assassin skill tree has a few, like with armor breaking and things like that might be useful. I'm not sure. I just haven't yet. I guess it just where's this? I feel like this game is missing a little bit of sauce for me.
okay.
That's my professional opinion. That's my detailed opinion. It's kind of sauceless.
It's missing the sauce.
It's aggressively okay. Like
Okay.
it's fine, but it's not something I would like say, hey, if you're looking for a great Metroidvania 2D action RPG, you should pick this up. Because right now I'm just kind of like, this is okay. In terms of the things that you're looking for, it has kind of everything you would want. Like it has a bunch of side quests. It has, these optional quests. It has like these bounty boards that like, hey, if you kill these certain enemies, you can get some bonuses. There's like upgrade systems with your equipment that you can that are in the game as well. So like on paper, it kind of feels like it has, all these different components, but to me, it just kind of feels a little bit stale. I'm probably gonna review this game. I'm leaning kind of like 7, maybe a 6, depending on, if it stays stale or maybe it improves. I don't know. It's just kind of just very okay. It's a very okay game.
Yeah, that's pretty harsh.
How are the like boss encounter designs in this game? Because I know it's usually a highlight of.
See, that's
this
also
sort of game.
that's also a little bit disappointing to me. Like because a lot of the optional bosses that you fight in the game are like reskins of each other. So there's a couple of different flavors of like bosses. There was where I'm at in the game. There was one major boss, as far as if I can remember correctly, the Necromancer, which was like a unique boss, multi-phase that was pretty good. But a lot of the bosses in the game are like you fight rats in the game. For instance, there's a couple different types of rats, giant rats, of course, and then there's a boss that's just like a bigger giant rat.
Is he the one that makes all the rules?
I don't get the reference.
No. Okay. Don't worry about it.
There's like a couple of different like I don't even know what you call them. They're like some sort of skeleton like Vanguard boss that like I think I fought like 3 or 4 of them. There's spiders in the game that are just like regular enemies, and then one of the bosses is just like, oh, a bigger spider that literally has the same animations as the smaller spiders, just bigger.
Speaking of yeah, since you mentioned that, is there an arachnophobia mode in the game, like how some games have started doing it?
I actually have the game pulled up on my other computer right now. Let me check. I'm just curious.
Yeah, 'cause-
But yeah, there are spiders. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I feel like a lot of the bosses you fight in the game are just the same as the regular enemies, just bigger. So that's a little bit disappointing. Besides the one like story boss, that was it.
Okay.
But yeah, like
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I know I feel like I've sounded more negative than I mean, but this game is just kind of very okay to me. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't really stand out. I also think the art style is not. It's kind of going for that gothic kind of medieval. Everything's. It's pretty much the whole game takes place at night.
A dark fantasy aesthetic.
Yeah, dark fantasy.
Okay.
I feel like some of the character portraits are pretty nice for the game. They're kind of like this watercolor, stylized character portraits. But I kind of feel like the game itself also is just doesn't have a lot of style to it.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
What did you ask? I forget.
Arachnophobia mode.
Oh yeah. Let me check. There is an accessibility tab.
Yeah, because I always ask, because in my circle of friends there are definitely some people who are arachnophobic, and they struggle with like certain games that do have like are aggressively have a lot of spiders in them. Like I know
there is no arachnophobia.
Yeah, because like I know a recent example is like Path of Exile 2, like in Act 2, I think, of that game. Like there's like a cavern area where like you're swarming with spiders, and some of them are like crawling on the walls near the camera screen, and it's like that really is they struggle with some of that stuff, which very understandable.
You will be happy to know that there is a camera shake and a motion blur.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's to me. That's the things that I want from my options. I turn off camera shake and motion blur like and depth of field like almost immediately. Especially like camera shake is like tough on me these days. I don't know why. Like I turned that off for Clair Obscur.
Yeah, I did that too, and also like the vignetting in Clair Obscur. I turned that off. I even forgot that was a thing. Like, oh yeah, I turned that off like very first thing.
Yeah.
But I will say, after Clair Obscur, and that like the type of story and the narrative that game is, which is very serious and emotional and draining, this game it's kind of nice, just kind of like this kind of relaxing kind of story light. Just explore the map. Find the secrets, get the treasure chest, power up your character. It is kind of that sort of. It is comforting in that regard. I remember the pre-release for this game saying that like this game is hard. This is Souls, and you're gonna die and whatnot. And I feel like it's not easy, but I kind of feel like it's not too out of the realm of what you would expect for this sort of game. It's not like, I'm actually finding it sort of relaxing, in a way. It's not
like I think a game that like fulfilled that was like first Berserker Kazan, where like game I got through that game even before the balance patches and everything, but like I found that like pretty tough for like some of those earlier bosses.
Yeah,
I know. I beat it before the balance. But I found like a build in that game, that really worked for me. That I was able to like, okay, this is much more manageable, but at the expense of me kind of, because of the way that I built my character. Now I'm less engaged in the full breadth of its systems, because I found the one method that lets me bypass it because of the way that damage modifiers work in this. I basically exploited that a little bit. Not to say that it makes that, because the game allows for that. So of course I'm going to take advantage of it for that.
But yeah, when I review this game, when I put my thoughts down on paper, it's going to be a little bit tricky. I'm going to be like, I felt this game was just aggressively okay. Maybe try a different class than what I did. I don't know. I don't know if there's actually like a respec. Let me look here really quick. So like if I wanted to check out a different class, can I? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Maybe not yet. Maybe that comes in later. I don't know. I don't see anything right now. Maybe that option comes later. But yeah, it is one of those things where there are 5 other classes you can play as that I did not play. So, their experiences with the game might be pretty different. I don't know.
Yeah, so sometimes those kinds of reviews of like when you find the game aggressively okay are like the toughest ones, because like you don't have a strong emotion for that game. And I think for me, those are definitely the hardest types of games to review. Of like, how do I make this informative and compelling to read, even though I didn't like feel emotionally charged about any element of this game. Like I feel it's easier to write a review about a game that like I dislike passionately over something that I felt.
There's some like element to the design or the story or
Yeah.
mechanic where it's like I can point to this and say this is badly implemented, or I think this is a bad idea, or this didn't work for me, or whatever. Whereas
Yeah.
this sort of like kind of middle of the road, it's just kind of like, yeah, it has this, it has this, it has this, and it's all fine.
Yeah. And the second point I wanted to address to you is like the games that have like multiple classes like this. It's like trying to like do a review for an MMO. You can only address like what you've played. You can't speak for. You're not going to go back and like play like 50 or 60% of the game at all the other classes to have like an all-encompassing, comprehensive review, because it's like, okay, I spent 400 hours for this, review of a game that I didn't really feel strongly for, but like just to say that like I've got a taste of all the classes. It's like it's kind of like reviewing an MMO in that aspect of like it makes it challenging, right? Right? Like you can only talk about what you personally experienced. It's not necessarily at your fault that like you chose one of the game's classes and maybe it's like relatively more dull than the other classes. It's like that's what the game offered you. That's what you went for.
Yeah, to be honest, I literally picked this class because it was the first one on the list. And I was like, maybe this is the class that most people will pick. I don't know. And
It's like when you pick Ryu in Street Fighter. He's the first dude. You don't know all the other characters. Like he's gonna be the baseline character. So maybe that's the baseline class you want to start to understand the game with.
In Mario Kart, I play as Mario.
There you go.
I don't. I'm joking.
But that's the main dude.
He's just the guy. And also, one thing about this game, I don't try to put too much weight on these sorts of things, but this is a $40 game also, which is pretty high, like, to its contemporaries in, like, this sort of Metroidvania space. It is a little bit maybe more, like, mechanically robust than other search action type games. But, $40 for this game, not like a full price game. It's just that, it is a little bit on the high end just for the game of this style.
And recent perspectives will be skewed on that because people will maybe look at Clair Obscur like, well, that's $45 and it's fucking crazy,
Oh,
and that may be a little bit unfair to like this game and for like for people
Not to
out
mention,
there who are like
like-
comparing like what they want to get.
Yeah, not to mention like Metroidvanias. There's so many Metroidvanias that are released for like $20 that are really good, like every year.
Actually, just before the podcast, Mikhail was telling me, you need to play Ender Magnolia. And I'm like, yes, I do, because I love Ender
Same.
Lilies.
I play that. That's probably my favorite game this year.
And you can buy that for $19 right now. So, and it seems
Last I
like
checked, it was on sale for $15. It probably isn't on sale anymore, but it's maybe the Golden Week sale is still going. Let me check.
it's a sale. Well, I'm checking Steam right now, and it says like $18.74. So it's maybe still on sale, but not as good of a sale. Do I have this game yet? I don't know. But I may have it in my Steam family library. But yeah, I definitely want to play that game. It's how do I put this? I'm not saying that Mandragora and Ender Lilies are like the exact same type of game. There's obviously going to be a different flavor to each, but they definitely have similarities in their style. And it's just that if one game is 40 and one game is 18, that's not nothing. So
yeah, numbers don't lie, and people are gonna be even more price conscious after the Microsoft Xbox news this week of them raising prices across the board.
Oh yeah,
with their hardware and accessories, and then say, hey, expect our games to be $80 this upcoming holiday season. It's like people are gonna be more price conscious than ever, along with like the price increases coming with the tariffs being implemented. And you already see it in other industries outside of video games. Like for example, I know people who buy like VTuber merch in their shop. Like there are people see a separate
I saw
charge
a
of the duties
VTuber
charge.
herself say, we need to either blank or blank, and I'll let you figure out what she said, but very evocative. We might see a VTuber January 6th.
yeah.
So it's just but either way, like it's not even just that. It's gonna be many other industries across the board that are gonna
Yeah, there's
feel
been
these price increases.
There's been definitely a lot of discussion on price recently, and I think I saw like Jason Schreier just kind of point out, just just kind of as a fact, like, hey, the best scoring games of this year, like in terms of like, in terms of critic consensus, which I know Metacritic isn't everything, but just trying to get as broad a picture as possible, well reviewed and well liked games. Clair Obscur is not a full price game. Blueprints is not a full price game. There was some other one that's like $40. So there's these games coming out that are like not full price that are doing really well, and kind of in the wake of Xbox raising their prices and whatnot. And in terms of this game here, Mandragora, like I know some people have strong opinions on like how much should you factor in price into like a review or your thoughts on a game or whatever. Like the price is the price, that shouldn't factor in, or maybe it should factor in. Whatever you think, it's just that in this case, I just think there are lots, as James said, there are lots of Metroidvania type games out there, and just it is when you're deciding what to play and what to check out. It's
if you haven't played Nine Souls yet, go and play it. I think that's still on Game Pass too. That was my game the year last year. It's super good.
It's right now. That's $30, not on sale, just $30.
Yeah, I guess as a consequence of this, I think people who traditionally like were seeking only like premium titles in terms of like the traditional $60 now $70 games may start looking toward to like cheaper price alternatives that are smaller scaled games, and hopefully this will come to pass sooner rather than later. But also there's also an opportunity for that sector of games to grow as a consequence of with just the rising costs all around in the inevitable future.
Fine. I think my final takeaway on Mandragora is it's an okay game. I don't hate it. It's like it's not really just leaving a mark on me right now. And it's one of those things where I don't really care about the story at the moment too much. It's sort of comforting, kind of just exploring the map and picking up the things and whatever. I would suggest if you were trying this game out, maybe wait for a sale and maybe try another class. Yeah, like you said, Josh, it's sort of hard to talk about when it's just like it's okay. It's okay.
Thank you for sharing your, initial thoughts and impressions. Several hours into, I'm never gonna say Mandragora. Mandragora. I can't. It feels so wrong to say it like that for me. Whispers of the Witch Tree. I'm still kind of a little shocked that like you guys are making me realize how Dot Hack has rewired my brain in like unexpected ways. Man, I played the shit on Dot Hack. Chow, it's been a while since we got you got to talk about some retro games here, but now we have some time to do so now that we're kind of going past a busy season of games, with next month still coming up and another wave of games. You've been kind of in this weird journey to prep for the incoming remaster ache of Tokimeki Memorial, Forever with You, whatever's coming to Switch, with the updated, visuals and UI that's like all optional for you, but you can still go back to the previous one. So to prep for that, because you're a big Tokimeki Memorial guy, you've been playing a PS1 game, Japan exclusive that came out in 1998. Please introduce this video game to us.
It's called Mitsumete Knight. I'm not sure you ever heard of this game, but basically back in the day, they made a Tokimeki Memorial spin-off with a collaboration with Red Company. If you're unfamiliar with Red Company, that's the company that started Sakura Wars, or Sakura Tyson, or whatever you want to call it. And so this is like a collaboration with them. It's basically a Tokimeki Memorial reskin with medieval settings, right? So
cool. That sounds neat.
So it's like, okay, so you've definitely never seen it. I was like, even I never heard of it until like last year. So
yeah, I didn't know this was a thing.
So yeah, it's basically a Tokimeki Memorial spin-off, or like a reskin with like medieval settings, right? So the setting of this game is that you're kind of like a foreign mercenary, and you travel to the kingdom of Dopan, which is constantly being invaded by this neighboring kingdom. So occasionally so basically the whole premise is just like Tokimeki Memorial. If in that game it takes place in high school, you basically got 3 years to get ready, like for graduation, right? So you're trying to like do all these like daytime activities to boost your stats. And then when at the end of the year, there's an exam coming, and if you get like good scores, like, oh, the girls are impressed. If you don't get good score, everyone's just, what a loser, what a clown. The whole Asian system, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, and this game, instead of doing that, it's like, okay, you're kind of like training to prepare for a battle. Because every time, like at the end of like 6 months or something like that, your kingdom's being invaded by that other kingdom, and you like challenge these guys to like a one-on-one duel, and you beat them. It's like, okay, it's like we're safe. If you get your ass kicked, you lose about like 3 months trying to like rest up or some shit like that. But I think if you play the recent like Suikoden series, it'll be like the battle UI just looks exactly like it, except the battle is complete dog shit. I'll tell you that.
So it's like the battle you're talking about, the duels in Suikoden, or just like the normal battle interface?
It has like the normal interface, but it also has like the war
Oh,
interface
the
too.
war interface. Yeah. Oh
It has
god.
both. It has both of them. Okay, and the
Mm.
war phase makes absolutely no sense. It's like rock paper scissors, and then it's like, why is this winning? You have no idea. It's just rock paper scissors kind of thing. So
That's how I feel when I play like the war battles in the earlier Suikoden games. It's like when the armies go off against each other. It's like I don't know what's going on. Hopefully I win.
like, if I show you a picture of the battle UI, you'll be like, okay, yeah, this looks like Suikoden, but it's not Suikoden, right? And then you're like, okay, and the battle also is like you need like max stats, right, to like win. Half the times you just get like freaking destroyed. So I don't know, like, or maybe I'm just bad at this game, but
It's
it,
kind of weird because you bring up Suikoden, and there's probably some lineage between Mitsumete Knight and Suikoden because like this is both under Konami as well. So I imagine like this released a little bit after the first Suikoden in Japan, I believe.
yeah,
So
because
this,
it's before two. Like this came out
yeah,
before two, Tokimeki Memorial 2,
yeah. So
and yeah, like find you a battle screenshot and you tell me what this looked like to you.
well, I mean we're on an audio podcast, so I'll try my best to describe it to people who are listening. But you're free to share if you want to. So the Oh god, that's right. So to people listening, it's like it is that slight isometric shift of the character sprites looking diagonally at each other, and it is like if you think of a Suikoden battle, it's like instead of them, but the enemies going from left to right, it's the your ally units looking at the upper right corner instead, looking at the enemy units. If you're comparing it for like the first Suikoden, uh, battle interface. So it's very, very similar.
This definitely looks like a game that's like this is a Konami developed game in the 90s.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah,
So
like this. Oh, so go ahead,
yeah,
Josh.
so how many uh, candidates are there, like partner candidates are there in this game compared to
I
Tokyo
believe there's like
Memorial?
10. There's one secret candidate. It's that you have to win all the battles in order to win the secret candidate. The secret candidate is basically go on a date with this girl, and she's actually secretly the queen, right?
Okay.
And basically, it's like the secret condition to get her is that you have to win all the battles. You can't lose a single one of these battles, right? Because how the game ends is like at the end is like this country decided to be like a what is it? They don't want foreign help anymore. They said so basically because the main character is a foreigner. The ending basically tells the kingdom basically tells get the hell out of here. That's kind of like how the
Dang.
game ends, right?
Holy shit. Okay.
And basically, when it ends, the girl that you fell in love with will come join you in your journey, right? And since she's the queen, the kingdom basically said you can't go, but since you basically won all the battles, like I guess they got no say to that anymore, right? So that's a
Oh, they're
secret
like they
candidate,
kept winning.
right?
So like in Tokimeki Memorial, the end state was always graduating, and you meet like your destined one under that tree in Tokyo Memorial one. And then in this game, the quote unquote normal end, instead of obviously not you're not graduating from like high school or like knighthood or anything,
Yeah,
but
it's just a kingdom
you get
kicking you out.
banished
You got
instead.
deported.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so it's like I think the game like introduced you like this really bad grammar at the beginning is that we have recruited at Asian. It's like, what?
My God.
Like those bad Google Translate back in those days. It sounded very bad, right?
Wait. So did it have? I thought this only had Japanese script. Or you're
It
saying?
is Japanese, but you know how like back then in the 90s they loved to translate the game into English and
Oh.
make it sound like it's epic or foreign, you know? Like I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. Okay, so it's not like some English characters in it, but it's
No,
like
no,
more
no. But
so.
it's like, have you played Fire Emblem 5 in Japanese? When you boot it up, the intro's actually in English, and then
Oh
there's
yeah. Okay.
little
Yeah.
Japanese subtitles in the bottom.
Okay.
But yeah, that's exactly how this game starts.
That's
And
crazy.
okay. So yeah, it's basically Tokimeki Memorial. Obviously, it's not quite the same. Like, okay, so in Tokimeki Memorial, you always have like a best friend to like get to know all the girls. So you had to contact him to like know where the girls are, right? In this one, you go to the church, I believe, and ask like the priest there for info.
That's
Like,
crazy. What the fuck? Okay.
so it's just like objects and things are swapped around. Okay,
So the priest has information on all the girls. Okay.
That's insane. Um. Wow. Uh,
but look,
my brain is kind of fried after that. But it's okay. So when you finally like get to like an end of a playthrough, like you know how the big reveal in Tokimeki Memorial was always under that tree to find out who you ended up with after all the decisions that you made along the way of like who you decide to spend your time with, building your stats, etc. Who you impressed the most, pretty much. In this game, does it have like an equivalent on that tree? Like where do you encounter that girl? Like the reveal of like who you ended up with?
it's in the port, but this game has like some storylines, like some deeper storylines. Like for example, one of the girls that you keep trying to date in this turns out to be like a spy for the other kingdom. So in the end, she's kind of like conflicted that it's like she stop being a spy and help you, or you know, it's like there's all kinds of other subplots too, right?
Right.
Technically, I think this game could be easier than Tokimeki Memorial because I'm not sure you guys play in Tokimeki Memorial. You need to like make sure that you go on date with every single girl possible. And the reason why you do this is because every like 2 weeks or something, if you don't talk to this girl in like those 2 weeks time frame, they become a ticking time bomb and they will explode and they gossip about you and your reputation in the school's down and you end up with nobody. You're forced to like date some random girl that you don't even know or hate just so that they don't spread gossip about you.
And
and,
does
and,
it have an equivalent?
and this game's equivalent is, in your first impression, you could just tell them to fuck off, and then you never see them again, and then your gameplay is smooth as heck because you don't have to see these characters like ever again,
Okay. All right.
right? Obviously, it's a lot different, but you know, I'm telling you, this is the Tokimeki Memorial experience. At least it's not free. I don't know if you ever played free. That is like the worst Tokimeki Memorial game ever made because apparently in that game you basically had to like dress up like on these dates and not a single combination ever works. And somehow like the combination that works just makes no sense. Like dressing a business suit in the beach, you know, it's like I
Hell
don't know,
yeah, that's charming. I like that.
but
You gotta lock it at all times. Okay.
I don't know if I see a guy in a business suit on a beach, I assume he must be important.
That's right.
you would do that on a date, right? It's like
You're just being professional. You're always professional. You're always dressed to impress, no matter where you are. You'll even
uh,
go into the water with a business suit.
but yeah,
Get in there.
it's like I believe it's like the series died with 3, and now the series is like trying to play revival. So I'm playing this, you know. It's like because I am just hoping to get the remake of Tokimeki Memorial 2 because that's like the best dating sim ever made, and there is none better, right? But yeah, so I've been checking out this game, and I think it's a funny experience because I think Tokimeki Memorial is a comedy in the weirdest way in gameplay, right? Uh, By the way, I'm
Yeah.
gonna give you a plot spoiler. Did you
Okay.
know it? If you play in free, all the girls are terrible, and they all treat you like crap. And one of the subplot is this girl is it's a mad scientist, and she killed her dog by injecting it with energy drinks because she thought the dog was sick. She was
Jesus
trying to
Christ, dude! What the fuck?
inject it with energy drinks. I'm like, what is this subplot? And I'm supposed to feel sorry for this girl.
Oh my god. That's I never played 3, so
I tell you, this is real. Okay.
I mean, I believe you. It's that doesn't look
So
well. That's e- what a bizarre game. Were there any other Tokimeki Memorial spin-offs that off the top of your head that were really cool to you?
I did not play the girl side games because apparently
Okay.
they're was it since the after free I think the series died they start to like branch off into the DS games and they start to making like the girl side series which is like you play as a girl and you're focusing on the guys, right?
Yeah.
So that was actually quite popular apparently. So I
Yeah, I heard people like the girl side games.
and then around during that time I think took was it Konami developed Love Plus and that everyone just kind of forgot that Tokimeki Memorial exists because Love Plus is the main popular thing, right? Uh,
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I briefly remember that.
Yeah, because everyone was like, when that game came out, everyone's like, "Oh, I am gonna marry whatever this waifu is in Love Plus is." I think they sold it as like 3 separate games. Was it?
I don't
I,
remember.
I, I don't know. I believe that it was like because there's only 3 heroines in that game, and they usually just like.
They did it like Pokemon style, just had different versions that they.
I thought at one point, but I think I might be wrong. I believe there was a Love Plus Plus. It's like it's a very confusing title when you add too many plus to it. Mm.
Besides the upcoming remaster of Tokimeki Memorial thing, any other notable dating sim is on your radar?
No, no, no. I only played Tokimeki Memorial, and I am hyped for the remake, even though I don't really like the first game the most. The first game is more like it's like stat management to like the maximum kind of potential kind of game, right?
Yeah,
But
you're definitely a min max game, more so than a dating sim.
like I believe there's like speed runs like blindfolded on a game that's all RNG based. I don't know how people
Yeah,
play it,
yeah.
but apparently that's a trend with Tokimeki Memorial these days. The game speed run blindfolded, I guess, right? So
Wild. Okay.
it is what it is.
All
What's
right.
what's the remake that comes out next week? I think it will be time to dive into it, even though nobody wants to hear that in the RPG podcast.
I mean, we'll see if you have time for it. I mean, not saying no one's interested. It's just like one of those things that like, people wished it got localized in the same way that the upcoming Two Heart remake is getting localized. That's kind of the challenging thing about it. It's like it's gonna be Japan exclusive only, unlike Two Heart, which is getting global release.
Broadening this a bit, it feels like Konami is like making an effort again. For
Uh-huh.
a while there, they kind of like disappeared from like they've always had like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that, but they kind of disappeared from like console gaming and maybe just had some mobile stuff. I know they have like that train game in Japan that sells 1 billion copies,
A
but
Train. Was that A Train? I
no,
forgot.
I forget what it's called. There's
Yeah.
Momotaro Densetsu. I know those games sell a
Okay.
ton. But yeah, like they
Okay.
have I'm just thinking about the games that Konami is like releasing recently or soon. Like they had the Suikoden remaster. There's the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. There's that new Silent Hill game. There's
Oh yeah.
there's Eden
Castlevania
Zero.
ports.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Castlevania ports recently. Um Suikoden Starleap. We're all excited for
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
Uh
That's right.
Well, how about do a Zone of Ender game?
Good one.
Please.
Good one.
yeah, it just seems like they have a
That's a funny
handful
game.
of, these games coming out. Some of them in our space, but
Yeah.
um and then this is like a remaster of this game coming out is like a remaster of the original Tokimeki Memorial. Is that right?
Yeah, basically you
Yeah.
could like have a switch to have like enhance the graphic or a switch to go back to OG graphics. So I believe that's all it is. It's like
Yeah, it's
uh,
more visual. And then the only thing is like they've added like some I think features from later titles like being able to put in like a name and then the character actually speak it.
yeah,
You
that's a
know.
system they introduced into.
Yeah.
The problem with that system in the original when you played it is that it takes up like 13 memory card blocks on a PS1 memory card. That and your PS1 memory card only has 15 blocks, so your entire memory card is basically done if you try to do that. So,
Oh yeah, there's also the
Yeah.
Gradius Origins collection coming out soon too, or
oh,
later this
That
year.
good.
comes with a new game too, right?
I don't
I think
Not
recall.
so.
sure. No. I haven't looked into it.
According to the press release, it includes is it Gradius or Gradius? I don't know how you pronounce this.
I think it's either way.
Gradius 2, Gradius 3, Salamander, Life Force, Salamander 2, Salamander 3. A total of 7 games with 18 different regional versions. Is what it says.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit.
So, but yeah, I was just thinking like Konami's got a handful of things coming out, kind of both collections, remasters, some brand new stuff, remakes. I don't know, sort of maybe on the upswing. Well, we know Chow's going to review Eden Zero for us.
Let's go.
Eden Zero, what?
Yeah, Eden Zero. Konami's releasing an Eden Zero game, dude. The guy from Fairy Tail, the artist, and author. It's a follow-up.
I make this joke at Chow's expense, and he doesn't even just totally goes over his head.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, I'm not crazy. The Steam page hasn't been updated, but I remember at a Nintendo Direct they announced that they're making a Salamander 3, and it's part of the Gradius Origins collection.
Oh, that's cool. That's
see, I didn't know that was new. I just saw this. I'll post this. I just saw this list, and I have no context for this. Like Salamander 3 is included, so but yeah, I was just looking at some of their games that are coming up here. So
okay.
I didn't realize Salamander 3 was a brand new thing.
I didn't either, to be fair. I know Gradius. I don't really know Salamander.
We should ask some random people. What do you think Konami should do on their next release?
They want a new Suikoden. That's what
You're getting
our
one.
audience would say. I mean, they want a new good Suikoden that's for a home game of Suikoden. Not to say that Suikoden Star Leap will be bad, but I highly doubt that most Suikoden fans are like, whippy, you know? But I'll play it. I'll play it.
You don't want a collection of 3 to 5?
I would play. I would replay.
I would definitely want a collection of 3 to 5, but
at least 5.
It's like I definitely don't think they'll do it. I think they would sell them like separately.
Do you think?
We'll see.
I just beat Lunar last week, the remaster. I know I'm going off topic here. Do we think Gung Ho or Game Arts will release a remaster of Grandia 3?
No. I have
negative.
Look, we can't even get them to fix one line in Lunar. The one where you get captured and they're like using like French accented E and it goes like all gibberish in the game.
Guess it sounds like a text string got corrupted or mistyped or something.
Yeah, they still haven't fixed it, so if they can't even fix that simple problem, it's like
I just wish Gung Ho was like in a better place. That's kind of where I'm at. Like I wish they just did better in general. It is what it is. So that's why I'm like very cautious about that Trails of the Sky, the first thing. Even though I know they're just helping distributing for the most part, it's still kind of very wary. Thank you, Chow, for informing us about Mitsumete Knight. It is available on PlayStation 1. I don't know wherever you can legally play it these days or acquire it and play it, but it is on the PlayStation 1 and it's Japan exclusive. I can't imagine this got any fan translation or any sorts, right, Chow?
No, apparently there's a sequel too, and the sequel is a dungeon crawler. They find out like the Tokimeki Memorial elements and just turn it into like a dungeon crawler kind of game, which is called Mitsumete Knight R. So if you don't care about the dating sim and want the dungeon crawler, you should try that one, I guess.
Would you say is the dungeon crawling part the best or worst part of the game, or just whatever?
I haven't tried that, so I can't comment on it, but I do know a sequel exists.
Okay. Alrighty, so that is Mitsumete Knight. Other than that, we've been trucking along here. We got some guides that come out. Apparently, there's a new or I don't know if it's new, but there's a super hard difficulty in Fantasian Neo Dimension that James wrote up about how to unlock it. I guess it was just recently found out, right, James?
Yeah, like literally during March, they Square Enix put up a interview with some of the development team for Fantasian, like a late interview about the game, on their website, and a buddy of mine alerted me to, hey, did you know there's a very hard / super hard difficulty in the new Fantasian port? I was like, what? And they linked me to it, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll check this out. Yeah, they didn't just add an easy mode when they ported Fantasian. They made a hard mode, which if you've played Fantasian, you know that even the easy mode is fairly difficult. The hard mode that was in there originally was the original difficulty. I'm kind of scared
Yeah,
about
I don't
how
know how you
hard a
make that
super.
game harder. What the heck? That's ooh.
And it's not like
That's
a new game plus thing. It's like literally you can get it from the beginning if you go into the config menu like 5 times in a row at the title screen. Then it just unlocks it and you can set it whenever.
interesting. Wow, I'm very interested to see what changes there are to it from people who've tried it. Uh, 'Cause that's kind of scary, actually. That is not a hard. That is not an easy game at all. Um, so I mean that's cool. But
It's rough when the devs in that interview said, yeah, even we struggle to keep up. It's like, oh God.
on to the news here. Not too much happened this week, which is fine. But there are some interesting tidbits that we'll go over here. Just recently, as of like I guess several hours ago, there was a Honkai Star Rail concert, which had um, some few tidbits to of game news aside from the concert part. I'm sure everyone had a great time there. Um, First off, before we get to the big thing that was shown there, they showed off the hotly anticipated, long-awaited collaboration with Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. They showed off Archer and Saber coming to the game this summer, and that is coming on July 11th. They gave a date to that. People who log in when that collaboration starts can get Archer for free, one copy of Archer for free, and then Saber they'll have to roll through the gacha. They've shared some details that like there some nitty gritty into the weed stuff of like, hey, this will have its own separate pity um, uh, counter on it. So people who want to save up for it, you have to pretty much start saving as much as you can now and try not to roll on any other banners if you want to get as much of them as you can when their um, banners roll out starting July 11th. And they shared their designs in it. You actually get like new outfits entirely for that collaboration, which is a cool amount of effort. Instead of like just having their normal costumes from the original visual novel and anime adaptation from it. So that's cool. But they also teased a brand new Honkai game coming to releasing. I don't know uh, whenever. They didn't give a date or anything, but it looks that there's like an animated CG trailer that has like it's looking like it might be Pokemon esque, Pokemon focused, where your characters can summon creatures to do battle with one another. Um, that's about it of what they showed. It's a very brief trailer of just like, hey, there are gonna be creatures that you can summon that they can fight against one another against like another trainer with their own monsters in the game. So stay tuned for that. We don't know when we'll see it again. They might have something at Summer Games Fest, but we don't really know. But we know that Hoyo likes to show off new trailers, other stuff at Summer Games Fest. So you might see that again there. We have no new uh, game title or anything. They just say, hey, this is a kind of small thing that they showed off. But we just know, all we know is like it's a new Honkai game. I don't know what that really means aside from it'll have Honkai in the title, like how Honkai Impact and Honkai Star Rail have Honkai in the title.
I watched the trailer and I'm just laughing that Blade is there. This is the guy that's trying to kill himself, all depressed and all emo, and then he's here doing Pokemon training.
Is that actually the character, or just like someone who looks like him?
It is him.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I don't know if that's him or not, but all right. So,
Oh, you
well,
play like in Honkai. He's like constantly like dry, like uses like his life force to like power up his sword to like do like powerful attacks. And here it's like he's doing Pokemon training and he still looks all depressed.
hey man, it's a rough life out there. Okay, just because there's Pokemon doesn't mean automatic happy. An interesting one that came out this week, as reported by Mikhail, Valkyrie Profile Lenneth, for mobile, the mobile version of Valkyrie Profile Lenneth is now available via Crunchyroll. And Crunchyroll has had like this subscription service for like subscribers. They had like this. They've recently had this like Game Vault program that like, hey, it's almost like Game Pass in a sense that like if you're subscribed to them, you'll get access to this vault. You can get games for free under your subscription for Mega and Ultimate Fan member tiers. So Valkyrie Profile Lenneth, the mobile version, has joined that lineup, but as a consequence of joining that Game Vault program, the the listings of the mobile version of Valkyrie Profile Lenneth on both the Apple App Store and Google Play has been delisted. So the only way to acquire that mobile version now, if you haven't gotten it before, is through that Crunchyroll Game Vault service. If you previously bought this game on at the App Store or Google Play, you can still re-download it freely. But if you didn't purchase it beforehand, you have to get into the Game Vault. The mobile version is separate from the Valkyrie Profile Lenneth release that not recently, but like what, a year or two ago, came out on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. But that's based on like the PSP version, and the mobile version has several tweaks slash enhancements that are separate from the PSP version, like updated artwork.
Yeah,
For example.
so they're both based. So basically, Valkyrie Profile came out for PlayStation 1. When it was actually localized in the West in English, back then this was actually not too uncommon. They actually added a couple of bug fixes and patches before it was localized. And even to this day, some people would still say that the Western PlayStation 1 version of Valkyrie Profile is still the best version because of that. Because when it came out for PSP later, it was based off the original Japanese version. So those Western bug fixes are gone.
Yeah.
Because it was basically like a branch off of the game that was never used again. And then that PSP version is sort of like emulated for the PS4 version. But then also that PSP version is the mobile version, but it has the best like version of the artwork out of any of the versions. And it has like cheats and stuff too that I don't think are anywhere else.
I don't like how this conversation seems relevant to a certain Eversquare export that might be coming out in the next couple of months.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
I didn't even know what you guys are talking about.
Bravely Default seemingly.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Do you think they purposely released a terrible version of Bravely Default so they could sell the better version later
No.
on?
Come
No, I
on.
don't think so.
This is
That seems
what is
crazy.
this? Don't blame malice when you can blame incompetence. So something like that.
Yeah, I don't think that's the reason, Jeff. That's
Like, let's
I mean,
sell
that's
a
a funny
Fire
that's a funny thing to conceptualize, though. No, I don't think that's the case. So that's just a heads up.
Valkyrie Profile is one of my favorite games of all time. I wish they would just come to Steam, but you can play the PlayStation version. It's pretty good. It's missing a few things, but it's fine.
Yeah, not really fine. But yeah, I agree with you. I kind of wish just got a PC release in general, whether it came to Steam or GOG or anything at this point. There's a follow up from the news last week of when GOG released Breath of Fire 4 for PC. We were excited that it happened, but a little bit lamenting that like, hey, it was kind of like mushy and blurry because of the filters that came out. GOG updated their release of Breath of Fire 4 this week and now officially support new point sampled and bilinear rendering options. So there was like a mod that you can use to implement it into the game, but now GOG has just straightforwardly added official support for that through its launcher. Like when you boot it up and go through the launcher options, you can set it so it has like point sampled and bilinear on the texture filtering option, so you get crisp pixels when you play that game instead of kind of like the mushy blurry ness of it. So
I don't know why
that's cool to see.
companies still think that that smoothness is what people want. It's the, I believe that people should know that it's like people like those rough pixels.
So think about the era this was released in. Like context really matters for this. This is like back then when like in the early to mid aughts, um, when this originally released, like people were already getting tired of like pixel sprites. Because it's happened. We were stuck on them for many many years, and the taste and appetite for that art style was already kind of getting out of vogue because it was happening so people were stuck with it for many years and they wanted to change. So that's why 3D models and 3D games were such a big welcome surprise. People loved it. So
Now look at where we are now.
Capcom really was really experimenting with the look of this game. So like to get away from the pixel art style, they kind of wanted to kind of mesh it together to kind of emulate like art, like movable sprites that look more like their art concept art renderings without the pixels to really you know not bastardize. I'm trying to think, but for the without the pixels kind of getting in the way of that. So it's I guess it's a lot of context of that time and era to really you know understand why Capcom went with this style for Breath of Fire 4 in its
And
original
I'm also a
release.
little bit uncertain. It doesn't really matter anymore, but like, was this how it was like in the original PS
Yeah,
or
exactly.
the original PC release, or was this something that GOG kind of changed and then reverted on? I don't quite know, but it seems like it's good now. This new update. Like I said
People
last
have the
week,
option.
I definitely want to
Yeah,
replay this at some point. I think it's
I definitely bought it, and then I was
yeah.
like, nah, I'm gonna go back to the PS1 version.
yeah. I mean, it's cool. Support if you can,
Yeah,
and
I did
and
buy it. Yeah, just
I bought just to support the game,
I
but I've never.
100% support this endeavor. And I bought Alpha
yeah.
Protocol last year too. I have not played
Oh
that. I
yeah,
mean, I played Alpha Protocol, but not that version. But just to support the, I 100% support this endeavor, like with
yeah.
my actual dollars. So
But it's just important to like kind of note like, hey, these games came out at a time and an era, time and place, context matters of like what the sentiments among the crowd then was like. It's not so cut and dry and clear when you have like 25 years later. People you can't be questioned like why did game companies think this was like such a bad thing? It's like, well, the story is more complex. Um, Moving on, we have a year one post launch roadmap for Assassin's Creed Shadows that Ubisoft has unveiled this week. Starting with early May, there's like a free update with new free quests that have some story to them, codex updates, quality of life improvements that they haven't really gone into. Late May, this is very detailed of having an early May and late May thing. They'll have a collaboration. I don't think they've announced what the collaboration was, but they'll have a parkour update as well and a photo mode update. Um, June they'll have another second story drop with new free quests and a new ally that you can recruit into your league. New difficulty settings, gameplay stuff. An open world alarm system. I have no idea what that means, but that's what they wrote on that infographic. An open
yeah,
world alarm system. Um,
I have a couple of comments. One,
no,
it seems like Assassin's Creed Shadows is more or less well liked. Maybe not perfect, but it seems like people are pretty happy with the game. I know our reviewer, the other Josh, he already put up his impressions, and he still plans on doing a review. It's a scored review, and I think he's gonna score it pretty highly. And I know some other people who are actually pretty interested in this roadmap. I'm curious to see how what this means for Ubisoft as a company. Like if the reception they got to this, both critically and commercially, is what they wanted, what they expected. Where does it go from here? It'll be with everything that Ubisoft has gone through over the last couple of years. I'm curious to see what happens. The other thing I was
yeah.
gonna say is, was it Josh? Was it Reverse 1999, the one game that you had your preview for?
Huh?
Sorry,
Oh, like they did announce a collaboration with Assassin's Creed. Yes.
Yeah,
From
there was a collaboration they announced between Assassin's Creed and Reverse 1999, which is a mobile game, in
right.
August, and just like I don't know, I see these and I wonder who it's for. Is this for you, Josh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's what's gonna get me to get Assassin's Creed Shadows. Oh, finally, reverse 1999 collab. Let's fuck.
Okay, sorry if I'm trying to burying the lead. We got an email, I think, just within the last 5 hours ago. Ezio of Assassin's Creed will enter the world of Reverse 1999 in its first ever global collaboration coming August 2025.
I
And
didn't
there's
even
this.
know that was a there's new info to me. Okay.
Okay, there's a screen, like an info here, or there's a little art here with Assassin's Creed 2, Reverse 1999, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I guess. And I just see this. It's just kind of like, why?
You don't like collabs in general, so
No,
you're
I
just
know,
like
but I'm
rolling
just
your
like, what is this? Do people get excited for this? What is?
I don't know. I have genuinely no idea. There's been some wild collabs between like the Eastern and Western IPs. Like I know Arc Knights had a collab with Rainbow Six Siege, for example, some time ago, and it's just like I don't know. We're really moving to that global IP content collaboration, which is kind of like I feel dirty saying that, but that's what it is. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know who it's for. I don't know if it really appeals to people like this. Um, but I guess it's cool to see, like, kind of, I guess, seeing um IPs like this have artist collaborations. Like, I remember when Assassin's Creed Valhalla was coming out, they had a collaboration with Vinland Saga because Vinland Saga is about Viking.
Yeah, that
Uh,
made sense.
Yeah,
Some
so
sense.
that was
I see
that
the
makes some
logic.
sense, but yeah, like that was a cool thing to see. Because like, okay, both are have Vikings involved. I get it, and both and at least Vinland Saga very beloved. Valhalla, I don't know if it's as beloved as that, but it was cool to see like, hey, they have the similar thematic backdrops to them. Stuff like Verse 1999 and Assassin's Creed Shadows, or not Shadows. Um, Assassin's Creed 2 and Odyssey, and the Arc Knights and Rainbow Six Siege. I don't know. I guess the Arc Knight and Rainbow Six Siege is like both are military themed, I guess. So or PMCs. I guess I see the thread, but it's just I don't know. Anything can collaborate with anything these days. It doesn't fucking matter if it makes.
Yeah, we have
I guess
Gundam in Call of Duty and Overwatch. Whatever.
right. Yeah. It doesn't make it doesn't have to make sense anymore. So whatever. Sure. So I mean, it's cool to see that Assassin's Creed Shadows, as you mentioned, seems to be doing well in terms of like reception. I don't know if like the metrics of like how well it's sold it meets Ubisoft's expectations. I don't know.
Yeah, like I don't know how high they were aiming or needing
Right.
this. Like I have no idea.
Because it feels like this is me totally speculating and nowhere near like accurate, but it feels like based on how Ubisoft situation, it feels like a Shadows needed to have sold like 50 million copies to somewhat get them out of the rut. Um, Not to say that that's their expectations, but that's what it felt like coming off like the sentiment of it all, of how dire their situation. Um, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I don't really know what to say other than that. Are there any other upcoming big Ubisoft titles, past Shadows that we are like don't
I
know
saw
of?
that I saw that there was going to be a major update to the Division 2, which is
Yeah.
surprising because that game is relatively old at this point and hasn't had a major
Came out in
update.
2019, so it's been out for over 6 years.
Yeah, it hasn't had a major update recently, but it's going to have another one. And I know I saw some people who were excited for it. Otherwise, in terms of like a brand new Ubisoft release, I'm not sure. Obviously, Assassin's Creed is what they were building towards, and there are a
Yeah.
handful of other Assassin's Creed projects that they announced. Like there's like that one that was supposed to be like that Blair Witch vibe, like Assassin's Creed Hex. Like that's I think still
Oh
a thing.
yeah. And then there's that whole Assassin's Creed multiverse thing, like that was more online focused, live service focused that they were trying to build up to.
And then one of these
Um,
days, Beyond Good and Evil 2 will release.
they also had like an Assassin's Creed like in China one that's for mobile, and I don't know if
Oh,
that's still
yeah.
happening or not. Like, I remember I actually got like a closed beta for that. It's
So are they actually like financially stable now?
Well,
Or
we don't really
I don't think
know.
so. Yeah, we don't really know, but it's highly unlikely because you need a lot of money to keep that operation afloat. And just because of like one game maybe doing okay won't get them out of that. Like Skull and Bones, for example, is still it's still getting support, but there are many signs that have continually said that game did not hit target at all.
Okay, I'm looking at this. I'm on Wikipedia, which I know is not. They have Assassin's Creed Jade. I think that's the China one. That's not out yet for mobile devices. There's Crescent Seed Hex. They have. Oh yeah, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake. I forgot that was that
Oh
was announced
yeah,
and that never
that's
came out.
right.
Uh,
That's been delayed heavily.
yeah, Beyond Good and Evil's on here. They actually just announced that Heroes of Might and Magic game, which I know some people were really excited about. People forget that Ubisoft owns that IP.
I forgot. Yeah, I did.
That's actually one of those games I wondered if we should cover it here. It's kind of has role playing, but it's also a little bit more pure strategy. Um, some people call it RPG, some people don't. The Heroes of Might and Magic series.
Yeah,
Um,
it's definitely not that borderline.
and that's got like an early access release this year. Tom Clancy's The Division 3 is on here. I don't know if that's something they announced. I mean, those games probably take forever to make. But yeah, they're making another Division. Yeah, and Beyond Good and Evil 2 is on here still. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell remake. I feel like that was been rumored for a long time. I don't know if that's a real thing or not.
They haven't announced or revealed that they're doing their own separate like a SGF adjacent event
I
that they
don't think
usually
so.
do. They haven't. I don't know if they're holding one of those this year. Um, didn't they have one like last year, but it was mostly like Assassin's Creed Shadows focused?
I think so. Yeah, and maybe Outlaws at the time.
Oh yeah, that's right. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like I guess I'm thinking about like SGF related stuff. We'll start like the usual SGF main show hosted by Jeff Keighley, and then we'll have one from Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else aside from like Day of the Devs, of course, and the smaller. But I don't know if there's any like publisher focused ones at least that haven't that have yet to be revealed. I guess if anything. Um, yeah, it feels smaller this year. Um, moving on. This is kind of a weird one. I don't 100% know the context of it, but Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1 is coming to Nintendo Switch in Asia this summer with English support. That is the headline verbatim. I remember that this was on the verge of coming out of the Switch eShop in the West before it got indefinitely either pushed back or delayed or canceled.
We talked about this before, and it is tricky, so I don't blame you. Idea Factory announced last year that Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth series was going to come to Switch, and then like a couple weeks later, they're like, actually, it's going to be delayed, and then a couple weeks later, like, actually, it's canceled, and this seems to be like a content, issue with Nintendo and the games and content in them. Um, and at the time, they actually said there is no plan to release these games for PlayStation in the West, even though they had already announced them in Japan. And then it kind of like flipped. Now they're not coming to Switch in the West. They are coming to PlayStation in the West. Like you will be able to buy them on like a North American PlayStation store, at least unless they change their mind. So the interesting thing about this news is that East Asia Soft, as well as Play Asia, who works with them, it's coming to Nintendo Switch in Asia this summer in English. So you can buy the English version and you can import it. It's just not a Western release. Like it's not from the North American eShop or whatever. You have to import it, which is kind of strange. Like so, it exists. You can buy it in English, but because of like content ratings, something or other, you can't. It's not being released in the West. Yeah.
Oh, eh.
it's like the Dead or Alive situation all over again.
Yeah, basically. So it's got an English version, but you can't buy it in the West. But it is coming to PlayStation, which a couple of years ago that would have seemed flipped.
Weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah. So From Software and Bandai Namco have given us a new look at Elden Ring Nightreign this week. They released a somewhat beefy 10-minute overview trailer basically going over everything that they've revealed about Elden Ring Nightreign plus more, just giving a general layout of like, hey, what can people expect out of this game? What does it flow? What are you working towards? So as you may already know, Elden Ring Nightreign is like a cooperative up to 3 players survival uh game where it's not necessarily a single player like RPG. You're trying to survive with other players over the course of like 3 in-game days. And as a circle of like bad stuff is enclosing into like the land space that you're in until it ultimately accumulates to like a big boss fight to mark the end of a day. Um, so they went over that game flow in this trailer, along with all the starting 8 characters that are going to be there at launch. We've gone over several of these character archetypes, whether it's like that kind of the sorceress archetype or the duchess, which is like an agile, fragile fighter, and then the guardian sort of tank character and the archer character. Um, the ongoing long form progression shown off in this overview trailer is you're continually working towards like uncovering the background of these characters. So there'll be like some sub objectives slash missions for some of these nightfarers as they're called. Where in order to get like the next piece of their lore, you might have to do like a specific like mini objective during a playthrough of Night Rain, where like you go upon a certain spot and there'll be like some enemy mobs that you have to beat in order to like get like the next almost journal entry to uncover more of their past and background over like how did they end up in this position and exactly who are the identities of Night are. So that's kind of like the long form progression of this game as people go through and matchmake with other players and like fast track build up their character and get as far as they can, hopefully to the end to like the big boss encounter of these play sessions in Night Rain. Um, Fairly straightforward stuff overall. They're just ramping up the marketing for as they ready for their May 30th release. 2025, not 2026.
Imagine 2026. Oh
I,
man.
I have to mention that because Rockstar updated everyone on GTA 6 release date, and you have to be careful about it because it's coming May 2026 for GTA 6, not
Uh,
2025.
Elden Ring is not a launch title on the Switch 2, is it?
No, it's not. But we're talking about Elden Ring Nightreign, right?
Yeah, I was thinking like, oh, well, maybe they'll have it ready for the Switch 2, and they'll have Nightreign coming shortly after. It's like, oh wait, it's not even
No,
ready
no,
for launch, so it's like, oh,
yeah. So, yeah, I mean, they just kind of give us an update on that. They also gave out the PC specs. Um, what people can expect out of this. It's fairly low, like PC specs. Minimum requirements are like uh GTX 1060, recommended is 1070, 8 GB of VRAM for the recommended, 3 GB of VRAM for the
Yeah, that's actually
minimum.
really modest for recommended.
Yeah,
1070.
yeah,
When did the 1070 come out?
it's like 7 years ago.
a long ass time ago. So yeah, it's pretty relatively low spec requirements.
2016.
Jesus.
So 10, almost 10 years
Oh,
ago.
yeah, almost a
Oh,
10-year
Jesus.
anniversary. So yeah, and this will be around 30 gigs according to the PC specs. So Um, and then to it's Elden Ring adjacent news, not Elden Ring Nightreign, but Bandai Namco shared that Elden Ring, the original game, Elden Ring has sold 30 million copies across all of the release platforms that it came out on. So that's ever since what February 2022 uh original release date. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, February 2022. 22. Has sold 30 million. That's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. So congratulations to From Software and Bandai Namco on the release of over 30 million on Elden Ring. It's one hell of a game that like took the gaming world by storm, and also somehow breached like the mainstream as well. It's like a game that like it feels like it shouldn't. The way that game is designed, it feels like I'm surprised that it breached that mainstream because it is
Just a personal anecdote. Like none of the people I work with at my day job, none of them are like really big like video game players. But one of my coworkers, he plays some games, and he plays like 1 or 2 games a year. And one of those games was Elden Ring, and he was like playing it off and on for like 2 years. That was just like
wow.
he's not a gamer. That was just like his one game that he played very sporadically.
Wow.
To your point,
That's
that just
crazy,
like just kind of breaching the mainstream. He just like, yeah, I play. What games do you play? I play Elden Ring. That's all I do, and not a lot. Maybe a couple hours every week. That's about it.
But it definitely breached that like kind of mainstream consumption because like there are some people who like play like sports games or only Call of Duty, like that's kind of their 1 or 2 games a year of like, hey, I come back home from work and if I have spare time, I'll go play like 30 minutes to an hour of like Call of Duty or like Madden, and somehow Elden Ring has, and you're like, I'm sure many people treat Elden Ring like that game of like, hey, if they have spare time, they'll boot up Elden Ring and play like maybe an hour or so of it. Level 5 continues their lot of marketing on Fantasy Life, The Girl Who Steals Time, coming out on May 21st. Um, they've showed off more of the job trailers like Carpenter and Taylor. They also have like this whole like I have to assume the character's name is AI's Kawaii Life Routine. Like they kind of have like a brief overview trailer of like this character that they made, and like some of the systems in the game. So just continually uh doing promo work. I kind of like it's good that they're doing a lot of marketing for this game. I just feel like it's a lot of it's not a lot of Western penetration on the marketing, which is a little concerning.
Yeah, because all of these trailers are basically going onto Level 5's YouTube channel, um, which I guess has a fair chunk of subscribers, but they're kind of all just on that one place.
Yeah,
I
like
guess
you'd
I wonder, have any of these shown up on like the Nintendo YouTube channel? I'm actually gonna check this real quick.
I don't
So
know if it showed up, but
like or any a lot of times a publisher will release a trailer and it shows up obviously on their own channel, but then on like publisher channels and things like that, and obviously those have like much broader like viewership. So Level
yeah.
5 channel actually has almost 600,000 subscribers, which is definitely quite a bit. That's actually more than I expected. But compared to like Nintendo's channel, which has how many subscribers does Nintendo have? 10 million. A lot.
Yes.
So like I'm just gonna take a quick look here. Is any like Fantasy Life on this channel? No, I don't see any. So that's kind of like my worry or concern. Concern's maybe too strong a word, but yeah, they're releasing a lot of trailers. But if you don't follow that one channel, you're not seeing them.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Like the promo life is hard, and you have to really branch out. You can't just like have it just be on that one channel or live at that one channel. You need to really spread it far wide. Like have like downloads of these trailers and like share them with like IGN so IGN can like re-upload them on
Yeah, and like
channel.
PlayStation's YouTube channel has 16 million subscribers.
Yeah. Yeah, Fantasy Life will this definitely feels like that prime for like people will be like that game came out question mark several months down the line. Just they need to really amp it up like it's good that they're getting out all these promo trailers for it, but they really need to find like other outlets to help coverage with it in terms of like just putting this in front of people's eyes. Good luck to them, it's I guess it's better than the Megaton Musashi.
And I'm just still going
Thing.
down PlayStation's channel here. I'm just kind of curious, like what channel or what trailers do show up here. Like there's the trailer for Lunar. There is a trailer for Mandragora on this channel, you know. And not saying that being on YouTube or on PlayStation's channel is going to be the determinator between success or not. But it's just like that's a big audience to get on these platform YouTube channels. You're missing a lot if you don't show up there.
Speaking of more sales updates here, coming off of Elden Ring, we have a big landmark here from Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I expected them to hit this landmark after last week's 500K
Mm-hmm.
They're probably
goal.
already
Oh, yeah.
at 2 million. If not, they're like super close to it because like it just reached its like it peaked higher this weekend
Yeah.
than last weekend on Steam, and like somebody posted on the Reset Era thread about this being like, hey, so it's currently selling better on PSN this week than it was last week. Like pretty much the sales like rankings for the PlayStation Store in pretty much every region for Clair Obscur has flipped with what Oblivion was a week ago.
I don't want to bury the lead here. So the Sandfall and Kepler shared that the Clair Obscur has reached 1 million copies sold. They shared that several days ago, like earlier this week. About actually on Sunday of last weekend. So I'm sure it sold a lot more copies throughout this week as well. And as James was saying, a lot this is getting a lot of exposure and a lot of interest around it now that people have like the strong reviews certainly help, but word of mouth I think is really
Yeah.
high on this game, and that's
Yeah.
really what's contributing.
I don't have like any hard data for this, but I have to imagine, especially for like a single player game, having your second weekend like on after release surpassing your counts for the first weekend after release, that has to be pretty rare. Where you have more people playing the game now than who were playing last week. I have to imagine that doesn't happen very often.
It is
That's
pretty rare. It's
purely word of
pretty
mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's purely word of mouth. I know that Baldur's Gate had the same thing happen
Right.
in 2023, but also Baldur's Gate, that makes a bit more sense because that game is incredibly long.
Yeah.
Clair Obscur, you can get through it in like 30 hours, so definitely even more
Shorter game
impressive
than
that
Baldur's Gate.
yeah, even more impressive that's happened with that.
It's so it's reached so many eyes and ears among the public that I guess the French president even gave a remark about it and
He
said
posted
like,
on
hey,
Instagram, I guess.
yeah, I guess. Talking, remarking about like the success of the game and like talking about the creativity of France like being shown through this game and so forth. And I loved like the response from the official Clair Obscur, I guess Instagram account or something was like just a baguette emoji. It's like fucking perfect. Great. So that's
You gotta
hell of a game.
wonder. You gotta wonder how they're feeling right now. That it's very real, very possible that they might actually like. We're not even halfway through the year, but there's a very real chance they'll get Game of the Year because like
Maybe.
GTA 6 got delayed, so it's like, oh shit.
I think
I
they're
mean,
definitely at least in the competition. Like we'll see what else
Yeah.
comes out this year, of course, but
yeah.
I still find it hilarious. Like last year, we didn't know anything much about this game, and it just kind of shrugged it off. And now it's like the most like hyped game of the year. It's so unexpected, I would say.
We are definitely going to be talking about this game a lot more come the end of the year.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
I imagine. Yeah, just everyone who's contributed to this game, I imagine feels humbled and honored that in whatever capacity that they contributed to it, like I have to imagine they're extremely proud that it's doing so well. Good on them. Amazing stuff. Moving on here, we have a release date for the free DLC coming to Sea of Stars. The Sea of Stars Throes of the Watchmaker free DLC is coming on May 20th, so just around the corner here. This is the one that's adding a new playable character. Forgot that playable character's name already. It's like
it's like a robot.
yeah. Um, and it's like at a new location and then its own whole progression system. So it's fairly like isolated from the main game. So it's very compartmentalized. Like hey, here's the DLC area of the game. So cool to see. Sabotage Studio, the publisher, also revealed that Sea of Stars has, in their in quotes, has garnered more than 6 million players, which is a pretty big number. This is also factoring in like Game Pass.
Yeah, it was on Game Pass. I don't know if it's still on Game Pass, but it was. When I saw this, we knew this DLC was coming, and yeah, it is supposed to be like a post game, just sort of like separate DLC kind of thing. but I cannot help but compare this. This is like it's supposed to be like an 8-hour DLC that's free compared to like what 505 games did with Aiden Chronicle. Those
Yeah.
DLCs are $8 each, and I don't think come to $8 total.
Yeah, they're some like maybe like an hour at most type of
So you
stuff.
can. I haven't played those yet. I will, and I don't expect to like them. But like $24 for 3 or 4 hours compared to 8 hours for $0. Now I'm not trying to say that this is a perfect indicator of quality or whatnot, but it's pretty stark. This is that game came out. DSRs came out 2 years ago, roughly, right? And here's just a free DLC just for fun. Like, hey, let's pick it up. It doesn't cost you anything. Try it out. I think that's cool.
That's cool. Yeah. So there you go. If you're itching for more new Sea of Stars content, that's 8 hours for the price of free is kind of
That's
hard
really
to beat.
cool. Yeah.
Kind of hard to beat.
I got to level with you though. The only people I've been seeing talk about Sea of Stars is in relation to Expedition 33 recently, and it's not exactly been a glowing comparison.
That's a crazy comparison. They're definitely very different games. So that's all right. Adam mentioned this a little bit earlier, but yes, we got more new info and footage of the upcoming Wuchang Fallen Feathers, including a release date. It is coming out on July 24th for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Um, it's it's a Souls-like-ish action RPG that we've been keeping our eye on. Has a pretty cool aesthetic, and they also released some new trailers, including a pre-order trailer and some content coming in the deluxe edition and whatever the pre-order stuff is in, like costumes and small goodies and stuff like that. Like the deluxe edition has like 4 costumes.
There's a lot of outfits.
Yeah, weapons, and then the pre-order stuff has even more costumes and weapons and stuff like that. Um, and so the pre-order trailer has some like new bits of like gameplay footage as well. There's also a new game trailer.
It definitely looks like it's definitely a Souls-like, but and I know James played a preview of this, right? It feels like faster paced overall.
Yeah, definitely is. The thing I was thinking of is it felt kind of similar to what Wo Long was trying to do, but in my very brief experience playing it, executed better. So
Oh, interesting.
Probably worth mentioning that this is also not a full price game. I think it's $50 for the
Okay.
regular edition, and it is on Game Pass also.
Yep.
But kind of another one of those, especially with all the talk about price recently. Like, hey, here's this game coming out that is.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to believe that $50 is. I don't want to say a budget price, but it's not full price.
It definitely is the Euro Souls likes though. Like you have first Berserker Zod, AI
Yeah.
Limit, now Wuchang, and then you have the PC release of Stellar Blade. Like not to say that like these
Expedition
all are, like,
33.
exactly like Souls. Yeah,
I'm joking.
but they definitely share mechanics. I know, but they definitely were inspired, right? Like the direct inspiration for Sekiro, in the developer interviews of Clair Obscur.
Yeah.
So there's lineage there. And Elden Ring itself, of course, with Nightreign. So it's definitely, and also with the reveal of the Dusk Bloods from the Switch 2 Direct. Not to say that it's coming out this year, but it's definitely a very popular genre, and it's really booming in recent time.
Heck, I was just talking about Mandragora. I can't. How do I
Yeah.
pronounce that? Ugh, you're messing me up.
Come to the dot hack side. It's
I think,
right.
Am I obligated to play dot hack now?
Yes.
You should.
Anyways, yeah, like even that game is very obvious Souls-like, different perspective, and we've seen 2D Souls-likes before, but still, they're everywhere.
More news coming from Compile Heart. A release date for the Western release of Mado Monogatari via the Wondrous Academy. That is coming out on July 29th for PS5, PS4, and Switch. So consoles only. No PC and no Xbox. They showed off a limited edition that's going to be priced at $92.99 USD to Comes with an
lot.
art book.
That's an interesting
Collector's
price
box?
for a limited edition. I wonder if tariffs had an impact on that.
A trading card, mini Shikishi board, just the official soundtrack, and a bonus item exclusive
A
to
spoon.
IFI online store. Yes, a mini curry spoon.
James, you played this at TGS, right?
Yes, it's funny that like most people are going to hear about that curry spoon and be like, "Why is there a curry spoon?" It's like it's because the last model Monogatari, which was released by Axis as Sorcery Saga, had a curry theme, and that had a limited edition that came with a spoon and little like curry bowl too.
Oh.
So this is just
It's
them
a
like
meta
giving
joke commentary.
it's giving a nod to the previous game's Western release, I
That's
suppose.
funny.
I like it. It's cute.
Yeah,
It's cute.
cheeky. So yeah, so that'll be coming July 29th. I never heard anything about it again after it launched in the Japan. I hope
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah.
I'm curious. I don't know. If nobody else wants to review it, I'll try it out. Putting my fucking hand in the fire for an Idea Factory game again.
So and then we have another delay announcement. It wasn't just GTA 6 that got the delay announcement this week. Ulti Zero Games announced that Lost Soul Aside will be seeing a delay uh, to August 29th. It was originally going to release on May 30th, but now it's getting a multiple 3-month delay, August 29th, which makes it in direct competition with Super Robot Wars Y now. So me sweating here. Oh man, I kind of like both of these games. So that and their delay. The reason for the delay is hey, they wanted to improve the quality of the game, making sure that it releases in a good state. So take time all you need.
For those who maybe don't recall, Lost Soul Aside, it showed up on like a China Hero Project stream a long time ago now. It was kind of it was like in the year or two following Final Fantasy 15. I remember because people were making the comparison that the character looked similar back when it was more relevant. And it was started by like a single person, like kind of just like a project. But since then has grown into like a full development team making this game with PlayStation supporting, and finally coming out this year, unless it gets delayed again. But there's kind of been a long lead up to this, so it'll be very interesting to see how that turns out.
So yeah, FF15/FF versus 13 inspiration lineage for this title.
I guess it has like the action elements that Final Fantasy 15 sort of has. I know this game sort of is sometimes compared to Souls-like, but I don't know if it's more just pure action rather than the Souls-like we've been talking about.
I don't think anyone can say for sure because, like, I don't think many people in the Western press have had a chance to play it. It might have been playable at like one of those like I don't know, like what's the name of the Korean one? Something Star.
G-Star.
G-Star, yeah, G-Star. It might have been playable there sometime. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't.
Actually saw Imran Khan, former Game Informer GamesBeat writer, saying like, I did a preview for this game back in 2017. I want this game to release, so I know wasn't just a fever dream, 8 years ago.
That's me knowing that I briefly played Hollow Knight Silksong at E3 2019 because it was playable publicly. And actually, a correction to everyone saying that the first public playable version of Hollow Knight Silksong is going to be at that one like museum in Adelaide, Australia. That's not true. It was playable at E3 2019 publicly at Nintendo's booth. So if you had a pass, even a public pass, you could have played that at E3 2019. The more you know.
My fever dream that I'll forever bear is that one Anime Expo level 5 panel of them showing off Yokai Watch 4 for the West.
I totally believe that one 4chan thing. I totally believe that one 4chan thing. It lines up with everything I've heard from people.
What is this
4chan
I was at
thing? I don't know about the 4chan thing, but
so after like level 5 Abbey kind of like fell apart, there was like somebody that posted on 4chan claiming a number of things about how things went down. And a buddy of mine actually did tell me, because he did know some people at level 5 Abbey at the time, and he said, yeah, that 4chan thing was accurate. So
I mean, all I know is that summer, whatever summer that was, the Yokai Watch was apparently shown in Anime Expo, if we are to believe Josh. And then like it was like within that like summer, a couple months later, there was all the reports of Level 5 Abbey just basically being, removed.
Disintegrated.
Doesn't exist anymore. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I swear I'm not lying. I was there. They said you couldn't take pictures or stream it or anything or take videos. There was a
Sorry, you got no
hard ban on
proof.
that.
It's all a fever dream.
Oh man. Uh, so that was
It's like that one Anime Expo Digimon panel where they announced the next Digimon story that's finally coming out.
Yeah, I think that was 2017 also. We've hit a theme in the last 15 minutes of this podcast of these games that were announced forever ago, some of them coming out, some of them not.
And lastly, we had the deep dive showcase into Borderlands 4, and the release date has been moved up instead of delayed. It was moved up from September 23 to September 12.
You know everything's topsy-turvy where right when this happened, Randy Pitchford said the reason it got moved up had nothing to do with GTA 6. And people were like, yeah, typical Randy Pitchford. He knows something we don't. He's lying. And comes out literally like a few days later. It's like, holy shit. Randy Pitchford telling the truth?
Yeah, clouds are falling out of the sky now. So yeah, they
Well, it's good.
they showed it off. I didn't really watch the whole thing, but it seems to be a good course correction from Borderlands 3.
It is
from
very Destiny-like. I've seen some people like jokingly call it Destiny 3, which sure.
I've definitely had some friends that like that played through Borderlands 3. They're like the Borderlands 3 was fine, but I played it mute and they made it a whole lot better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see how this
I
shapes up.
every time Borderlands 4 comes up, I think about that one tweet or that one quote from one of the writers where it said, if there's a skibbity toilet joke in this game, I'm gonna want to kill myself.
So yeah, and then they were talking about how easy it is to invite friends over for a co-op session in this because a lot of this game, the mass appeal of this game is like being able to play with your friends. So you might have to show that off. I still remember that like era of like Borderlands 2 where they had like all those vault codes. Remember the vault codes? You had to
Yeah.
put it in for that weapon cache, and it just got out of hand and out of control. That's what I always think
Badass.
about. I always think about that era. I was like, man, that was a weird era. Feels so
Technically,
far long ago.
Technically, they did that for Borderlands 3 as well,
Oh, did
but I
they?
think a lot of people. It did sell well at launch, but I think Borderlands 3 had a bit more of a tail because it was originally on Epic Game Store, so some people waited until it was on Steam to play. So
So I guess the big thing here is like, hey, they showed off a lot of gameplay footage, extended gameplay, like hardly any cuts. So it was like just it's cool to see like, hey, they just let the game speak for itself, and you can see if you like it or not from just actual direct feed gameplay footage. You know, but definitely some like the new Vault Hunters, the new heroes characters. Like one of them looks like a character that came out of Apex Legends, for example. Like, oh, okay. And one of them has like demon wings. I was like, all right, then sure. And one of them is like dual wielding like a big ass fire axe and ice. Okay,
awesome.
good design. So yeah, I mean, September 12th, it's several months away. Hopefully that game's in a good shape and a good improvement from the past Borderlands titles. And hopefully it'll be tolerable to play with audio on. For some people, that was the big hurdle with Borderlands 3.
Do I have to watch the movie before I play this?
Yes, absolutely. We should all do a group watch of the Borderlands movie before this, just to get a
Okay, you
good
stream it first.
No, we're all gonna go to SGF and we're all gonna huddle together and watch it together.
Look, you guys already did that stream marathon for the Kingdom Hearts. Was it mobile
The
game or
mobile
something?
game, yeah, the story.
We didn't even do the whole thing. We only did like because the mobile game was like two different parts, right? It was like Union Cross and some other cross, and we only did the first part, and it was still several hours of nonsense that I don't remember.
It was
It's
oh,
like if you did that, you could always do it again for this one.
well, someone get the popcorn.
And then throw it away when someone screams chicken jockey.
That's Minecraft, not Borderlands. All right. Well, that wraps it up for this episode of the Tetracast. We went over some Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree, and Mitsumete Knight. Covered the news of the Star Rail concert, Breath of Fire 4 goodness, and all that stuff, along with Elden Ring Nightreign stuff, Fantasy Life, Wuchang, Lost Side, etc. So, thank you for listening. If you've made it here, we appreciate it. We have some interesting titles coming out this month here. Yeah, of course, we have the big one with Elden Ring Nightreign coming out at the end this month, along with an interesting look at Fantasy Life coming out later this month as well. So I definitely want to check it out. I don't know if
I've seen
I'll.
a few. I've seen a fair bit of excitement for Fantasy Life. I know we were talking
Yeah,
earlier about like its marketing and whatnot, but people who are aware of it seem pretty excited for it.
yeah, I'm very interested in it.
Yeah,
It's
I do, and I am interested in playing it, especially since it is full crossplay. I think people keep glossing over that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I beat the drum for Megaton Musashi. I'll keep on beating the drum for him as level
I
5
need to play
titles.
Megaton Musashi. I really need to get around to it because, like, I still remember everything you said last year. Where it's like, this is really, really good. It's like, man, it's such a shame that I have 100+ hours left of the 100 line to get through first. Still, not to mention a bunch of other games that are on my backlog. I need to get through for this month. God.
Look, with how expensive video games are gonna get pretty soon, I think it's time to clear out that black backlog now.
There's also the next installment of Fuga Melodies of Steel coming out at the end of this month as well.
I should finish my dot hack GU playthrough since certain things in that Fuga 3 trailer, people
What the
said,
heck?
hey, it might be tying into that a bit. It's like, fucking course. Of
So,
course.
ay. Well, thank you. You can find us on the main site at rpgsite.net. Find us over at the social, whether Blue Sky or Twitter or other places at RPG site, facebook.com/rpgsite.net. Find our podcasts over at YouTube or your favorite podcast app. And you go on over to the Discord over at uh God, I always get the URL of the Discord mixed up. I think it's discord.gg/RPG site. I've been very active over there as people talk about the ongoing ramifications of the tariffs, talking about their time with the games that they've been playing. There was some. It has been proven false now, but there was some hubbub over a Chrono Trigger remake that apparently was slipped out by um, at some convention, but it was apparently false, and it was just like some interpreter mix up there. So the whole Chrono Trigger remake thing was proven false and just just a slip up and not actually real.
I'm wondering what the interpreter was doing there. Like, how does that just manifest?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, it was a very big slip up, but it was not real. Yeah, but that definitely caused a stir within the Discord and people going, their wildest imaginations coming to life. But yeah, so it's always a fun time there. So yeah, thank you for listening, and until next time, hopefully we'll have Brian rejoin us here, and maybe he'll talk about his situation of what happened this week. Until then, stay safe, take care, and thank you for listening to the Tetracast. Thank you, James, thank you, Adam, and thank you, Chow, for joining me here. And may you have a awesome, wonderful rest of your day, or rest of your weekend, rest of wherever you are in the world, and whenever you're listening to this. Thank you so much.